Okay, we got training camp going on. The Vikings, a couple weeks now. Um, First preseason game is less than a week away. Uh, so we're getting close. I would say probably there hasn't been a lot of controversy or much of anything coming out of training camp. You know, from what I've heard, and I don't follow every single day's practice closely. Like there's people who tweet out every single play that's run in every practice. I don't go for that. But a couple big, I would say the biggest thing that's come out since the start of camp is the center position. And, I don't think anyone was surprised over the offseason when the Vikings didn't pick up the fifth-year option on Bradbury. Because he's been a bust. I mean, he is a bust at this point. I mean, it doesn't look good for him ever being anything other than just a real swing and a miss. I think some people were surprised, probably myself included, that they didn't really seem to have that as a priority center position, either through the draft or free agency. We drafted a couple of linemen, but we didn't draft anyone who could play center. And we didn't go out and sign anybody. That the name J.C. Treader has been out there constantly as a veteran center, although he's had injury stuff, and it's August, whatever, 8th or 9th. It's telling that you get to that point. Everyone's been in camp for multiple weeks. Everyone could use a good lineman, even as a backup, and the guy's still unsigned. Even Anthony Barr, with all his injury stuff, he got signed. So, at this point, it probably is unlikely that they're going to sign Treader or any center. I mean, it could be one of those things. You look for guys on cut down day or possible trade options, but and they said, and KOC said all the the right things, the supportive things about Bradbury, thinking that get him into a new system, maybe we can do something with him. But it sounds like that's not happening. It sounds like he's getting trucked just about every day in practice, no matter who's opposite him. I think Reed, the guy we signed as a guard contender, I guess they've maybe been working him out a little bit at center. I can't analyze football in a way that I can tell you how much, other than like, snapping the ball and knowing all the signals and everything, like the difference between playing a guard and playing a center. If it's just a physical thing, is one guy better than the other? I mean, at this point, you gotta say just everybody's better than Bradbury, but at this point, that's the big question mark on the offensive line. I think more than guard. I think Davis is probably going to be one of the guards, or the open guard position. Ingram, the rookie's gotten some run. Sounds like he's doing okay, but he's a rookie, and you don't usually stick like a non-first round pick rookie into a starting spot right away. Even like first round guys don't necessarily start right away. So I would say the odds that Garrett Bradbury is the week 1 starter are probably pretty slim at this point, and he might not even make the team. I mean, this is going to be his last year anyway. I don't know what the cap hit would be if you cut him, but I don't think it would be that big of a shock at this point if Bradbury is a cut after the preseason, and he'll get some chances in the preseason, but I don't think it's not looking good. If you're buying Garrett Bradbury stock, you're making a poor purchase at this point. So that's probably the biggest thing that's been coming out. What else? Sounds like what's his name, Naylor, the guy we drafted. He's been pretty good. He's been a standout. don't know that it means he's going to like supplant KJ Osborne as third wide receiver, but maybe he'll be the fourth wide receiver, and you can always, you know, a guy like AOC is probably going to be a little better at finding spots to use, you know, offensive weapons than the previous guys were. Sounds like Wyatt Davis probably ain't gonna make the team. You know, that's gonna be another swing and miss in recent years for the former regime. You know, QB sounds like Kellen Mond is not really. You know, we're kind of, you know, hoping that maybe, you know, with a year under his belt, if, you know, he barely played, but he, you know, obviously was around the team and got a lot of, you know, behind the scenes learning theoretically. But it sounds like, you know, he's probably not going to be QB2. That somehow Sean Mannion is going to still be QB2. I don't know how he does it. And it's not even like QB2 is like, oh my God, this guy's what a great backup, but it's probably more of a testament to just how bad Kellen Mond is looking. You know, which means that's another swing and a miss. Like this is, whew, boy. I mean, he's already fired, so at this point, it's not like you can't fire Spielman again. But boy, these last, you know, especially that last draft of his is really looking pretty poor. And obviously, like the Bradbury thing at 19 was bad, and now big swings and misses in 20. I don't want to do the I told you so. I was not a fan of the Mond pick at the time. I didn't like it. I didn't like that they took a quarterback. I didn't like that they took a, you know, a real project in that way. And people say, well, you gotta take a chance on quarterbacks every so often because it's the most important position. You know, there were people already, you know, they were so excited when Kellen Mond was drafted because it's a lot of the Kirk haters just were like, okay, finally, here's the future quarterback that we can use to replace Kirk. Where there are people who wanted him to replace Kirk last year. Well, guess what? It doesn't look like he's going to replace Kirk ever because he's probably not any good. And you know, that sucks that you wasted a third-round pick on a quarterback who probably is terrible and probably will never even come close to being even like a decent backup quarterback. You know, that can turn around. I mean, look at that. You know, he'll have his shot in the preseason too. And we'll see now coming up with the preseason if KOC actually treats these as you know, as games worth trying something. I complained frequently in the last couple of years, that especially last year, that Zimmer treated these games as absolute nothing, and they are nothing in terms of importance, like to a season, to standings, but for developing guys, it does matter, and there was no attempt to do anything with Kellen Mond last year, and there will be probably a little more of an attempt this year, but the early returns are not sounding very good on him. Stay healthy, Kirk. That's all I gotta say. Because we are SOL if Sean Mannion has to play. We saw that last year. And look, even Sean Mannion probably look a little more like a real quarterback with a real offensive coach, but nevertheless, yeah, it's not looking good for Mond. Haven't really heard too much about the defense. Some of the rookies. There've been some stuff about Booth sounds like he can play. Dancer maybe struggling a little bit. We'll see. I'm not expecting this defense to be all world. As long as they don't give up a fucking touchdown in the final 2 minutes of every fucking half, every game, they'll probably be a little better. And health is going to be just so important with Hunter and Smith. Like those two guys have got to stay healthy. If they do, that's going to help the secondary immensely. Um, Greg Joseph booming kicks. What do they say? What do they say? He hit like a 58-yarder the other day. Like I know there's like always the 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 dooming and the naysaying about Vikings kickers. I have absolutely no problem with them just handing Joseph the job. Like he was okay last year. Like he missed the one in Arizona. He missed some other kicks. Almost no kicker's going to hit everything. I think I think the way he was able to bounce back after the Arizona miss and hit some big kicks, I think that, and if you believe the whole narrative that, Mike Zimmer's presence alone was just a death sentence for kickers, well, he ain't here no more. So maybe that'll help him too. It doesn't mean Joseph will go out there and make every kick this year. He might even miss a game winner or something. But unless you get Justin Tucker, which you don't have, like you're gonna miss some kicks from time to time. It's just make most of them. Don't miss any PATs for fuck's sake. Hopefully we'll be scoring some more touchdowns this year and giving up fewer touchdowns, so we won't have as many close games. Almost every game last year was within like one score. If that's not the case this year, it ain't gonna be quite as important that Joseph is money all the time. Still want him to make the kicks, but I think he'll be fine. Had a couple injury things, I think. Saw that Wong Wu was missing some time with an injury. We don't want him. I don't want. I certainly don't want him to be out, because I think he's really going to be a guy that KOC gets to tinker with and use in a lot of creative ways. And of course, we saw how good he is as a return guy if he gets some chances. Irv Smith. That probably should have been the A topic. Irv Smith hurt again. He's out for basically the whole preseason. It's not the same injury as last year. It's not the knee. It's a thumb. So, he should be out there. They're as of now they're planning for him to be out there week 1. We'll see. We don't have a lot at tight end beyond Irv. Maybe we might have made more of a push to bring back Kyle Rudolph if this injury had happened sooner. It's bad timing there, but hopefully this isn't like a sign that Irv is just going to be a real injury prone guy. And I know that term can be unfair because this is a different injury, and it's like a legit injury. I mean, if you tear a ligament in your knee, that's a serious injury. If you tear something in your thumb, like it's different than just being like he's sore all the time. But every year, I thought last year was going to be the big Irv breakout, and never had a chance. And this year, I was like, okay, well now he's really going to get the chance. And now he's got an injury that's going to cost him the whole preseason, and a lot of practice time in the new offense, and we'll see what happens. But we don't have a lot of tight end beyond Irv Smith. We got Mond and Zach Davidson and Ellison, and just a bunch of just names. And hopefully KOC is better at working around absences of players than previous regimes, where if you lose one guy and then they're just panicking. And who knows, who was Tyler Conklin until he got his shot. We didn't know we knew who he was, but we didn't know that he could play. And maybe one of these guys we got now can play. They just need their shot. Dalvin was hurt. I know he got a little dinged up one day, but he was back. We haven't had anything super major other than Irv. Not so far. We haven't played any games yet, and we always seem to get injured at some point. Hopefully that's just going to be so important this year, is to not have the never-ending succession of injuries, major injuries. Obviously, Hunter and Zadarius Smith, if those two can stay healthy for the whole season, this defense can be very good. Just those two guys being on the field most of the time, that's going to make a world of difference. So yeah, that's, I don't know, I just figured I'd do a Viking training camp video. I haven't gotten out there yet. I'm hoping to get out there this week. Do my own scouting. Yeah, first preseason game in Vegas next Sunday afternoon. We're less than a week away from real action. I'm excited, even though it's preseason, you know, and preseason is absolutely terrible, but you always forget that it's terrible until it happens. And I'm still excited. And then we got our one home game the week after against the 49ers, and we got them in for some practices. See what happens with all that, you know. And hey, we're just a couple days away from 1 month until we play the Packers. And optimism reigns, because it's August. Optimism always reigns in August. And sometimes it's doused by September, has been the last couple years, but I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think this is going to be a pretty good team. So we will see what transpires now the rest of camp and preseason. And if something big happens, I'll be here to give you my thoughts on it.